takes aim at Fulton County's Attorney General, District Attorney Fani Willis, following a major day in the Georgia election interference case against Donald Trump. Now, speaking to Newsmax's Carl Higbee, Alina Habba delivers scathing remarks about Fani Willis and raises questions about her connection to Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade. Meanwhile, Todd, Blanche, and Emil, Bove, Donald Trump's legal team, challenge a gag order that was imposed by Judge Juan Merchan against Donald Trump, arguing that it essentially infringes on Donald Trump's First Amendment rights amid his high-profile conviction. And as Nvidia prepares for a monumental 10-for-1 stock split, history hints at some surprising outcomes for this artificial intelligence giant's shares. So now the real question is, what's next for Donald Trump? What's next for Fani Willis? And what's next for Nvidia? But what I'm going to share with you guys may actually shock you. Now, before we begin, all I ask is that you guys take a second, hit the like button for the video. I totally appreciate you guys. I want to thank y'all as always for subscribing to the channel, sharing the video. You guys are amazing. We got Catalia in the house already. Number 1 to comment is Catalia. Number 2, we got Justin Gonzalez, Gail Strong. Awesome. Appreciate you guys. So Donald Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, she made fun of Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis after the Georgia election interference case against Donald Trump got put on hold, guys. So Donald Trump got huge news on that. So meanwhile, talking to Newsmax's Carl Higbee, Alina Habba responded to the news that the trial would be delayed because of an appeal. So this appeal, it concerns whether or not Fani Willis should stay on the case due to her connection with Nathan Wade, special prosecutor who she hired for the case. Now, Alina Habba, though, she criticized Fani Willis, saying, quote, "She's fallen on her fanny since the very beginning." What do y'all think? Has Fani Willis fallen on her fanny? Anyway, Alina Habba believed that the case has been poorly handled from the very beginning, calling it a fake case. And she also described Fani Willis's attitude as basically being just super revealing. Cash money Fani Willis. So Alina Habba, she further accused Fani Willis of working with President Joe Biden's administration to try and bring down Donald Trump. That's all this is. Corruption, fake cases, show cases, and whatnot. She stated that Fani Willis took herself down in the most public display of chaos and disgrace. Attorney General Merrick Garland, he got into a fiery exchange with Representative Matt Gaetz at a recent hearing with the House Judiciary Committee. So the idea is that the DOJ is now a weapon that's being used on political rivals. Oh, it's dirty. Namely, Donald J. Trump. And as we're all now aware, Donald Trump was found guilty on 34 felony counts in New York. This is a trial that was very polarizing from the beginning, as it seems as if the judge was biased. Now, the idea is that Judge Juan Merchan was financially benefiting from all of these attacks on Donald Trump. And as reported by independent journalists, his daughter, Lauren Merchan, was said to have been paid millions of dollars by top Democrats, guys. Now, some people want to call it laundering. Some people want to call it a scheme, a scam. I can understand where these allegations come from. Money coming from the likes of Governor Kathy Hochul, Representative Adam Schiff, and even House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries. I mean, guys, this begs the question if Merchan should have recused himself from the case. And, you know, as we know, he didn't do this and is now set to give Donald Trump a sentence within just a few weeks. He literally has the power to send Donald Trump to jail. Now, these actions have raised curiosity from Republicans as well as some American voters who feel like this was all planned from the very beginning. So here's what happened between Matt Gaetz and Merrick Garland just recently. Take a listen.
Attorney General, you've told us that it's a dangerous conspiracy theory to allege that the Department of Justice is communicating with these state and local prosecutions against Trump. You can clear it all up for us right now. Will the Department of Justice provide to the committee all documents, all correspondence between the department and Alvin Bragg's office and Fani Willis's office and Letitia James's office?
The offices you're referring to are independent offices of state.
I get that. I get that.
State.
The question is whether or not you will provide all of your documents and correspondence. That's the question. I don't need a history lesson.
Well, I'm going to say again, we do not control those offices. They make their own decisions.
The question is whether you communicate with them, not whether you control them. Do you communicate with them, and will you provide those communications?
Make a request. We'll refer it to our Office of Legislative Affairs.
But see, here's the thing.
They
You
will
come in here and you
appropriately.
lodge this attack that it's a conspiracy theory, that there is coordinated lawfare against Trump. And then when we say, fine, just give us the documents, give us the correspondence, and then if it's a conspiracy theory, that will be evident. But when you say, well, we'll take your request, and then we'll sort of work it through the DOJ's accommodation process, then you're actually advancing the very dangerous conspiracy theory that you're concerned about. Now, you were a judge, once nominated the highest court in our country. When you were a judge, I'm just curious, did you ever make political donations to partisan candidates?
No.
No, and you didn't, because that would create the potential appearance of impropriety.
I didn't, because there's a federal rule barring federal judges from making contributions.
Right, but under that same theory of attacks on the judicial process, like, shouldn't someone be owed like a jury of their peers and a judge that's non-biased, rather than getting a judge from your political opponent's donor file?
I'm well aware that you're not asking a hypothetical. You're asking me to comment on a jury verdict in another jurisdiction, which has to be respected. I won't comment on it. That case is still ongoing. The defendant.
Mr. Attorney General, I hadn't asked you about the verdict yet. We were getting there. I was talking about the judge. And so let me ask you this question about your time as a judge. Was there ever a time when you were a judge when you had a family member who was personally profiting off of the notoriety of a case that was before your court?
I'm going to say again, it's very clear you're asking me to comment on a case in another jurisdiction.
No, wait, hold on, Mr. Attorney General. Did you ever have a family member profit off of the notoriety of any case that you sat over?
Say again, you're asking
Yes or no?
You're asking me to comment on a case currently.
Well, it seems you're connecting the dots, Mr. Attorney General. I'm just asking you as to a general principle, but you are aware that Judge Merchan's daughter was profiting off of this prosecution.
Oh, it gets so fiery, guys, and Matt Gaetz ain't having it. You know, this guy, Attorney General Merrick Garland, he used to be a judge, which I didn't even realize he used to be a judge until just hearing this debate here, back and forth here in front of the council. But it's very clear that these politicians, these attorney generals, these judges, they're very good at trying to evade the question. Matt Gaetz wasn't having it, though. Basically, every time Merrick Garland tried to circumvent answering the question, Matt Gaetz brought him back front and center. So we're gonna keep an eye on this one here, because there's a lot of corruption going on. And it's very clear why Merrick Garland didn't want to admit to the things that he didn't do, because all the things Merrick Garland was not willing to do would effectively incriminate or at least raise significant red flags about all the things that Judge Juan Merchan did do. That would be a big problem within their judicial system that would literally cause them to end up like firing at each other. Merrick Garland knows where that road leads, and he's trying to avoid that altogether. How many of you guys are seeing this? I mean, you got to be seeing this, guys. This is so freaking dirty. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable, guys. So anyway, we got a lot more to talk about today. So I mean, I got to say, that comment from Matt Gaetz that Merrick Garland was connecting the dots, it was pretty clever. It was very clever, and it really just highlights that Merrick Garland knows what's going on. He knows what's going on. He's seeing it, and he's really trying to like partition himself and not be put in the same basket, because it would be so obvious that, look, the reason why you're not doing what Judge Merchan is doing is because you know better. Anyway, because Merrick Garland says that he's not aware of the facts, and he just cites that this is happening in another jurisdiction. How do you know? You know, I think it's real clear that he knows that Merchan is financially profiting off of the Donald Trump case. So, you know, without even mentioning Juan Merchan, Merrick Garland knew that this was the same issue. How else would you know it's the same issue, right? How else would you know to connect these dots? Because it's obvious even to Merrick Garland, and he's on the same team as Joe Biden, the DOJ, and Judge Juan Merchan and all these other DAs and AGs, right? And it's a very clear issue, which is why Donald Trump repeated time and time again that he should recuse himself, that Judge Merchan should recuse himself from the hush money trial in New York. Now, critics are also pointing out how the Attorney General can just kind of like work with these people and provide them with correspondence made to these different offices. But why are you unwilling to provide this documentation? Like he won't even like say no. He won't say yes. He just wants to dance around the question. And I think it's rather interesting how he actually did get a yes or no answer out of Merrick Garland during that exchange there. But why is it so difficult to get a yes or no answer from Merrick Garland on these other issues, right? The reason is because he would be incriminating Judge Juan Merchan, who is in another jurisdiction. But anyway, you got to ask, why is it so hard for him to do so, right? The allegation is that they would get caught red-handed if they did this, guys. Period, point blank. These offices and prosecutors, they worked hand in hand with the DOJ to try and get Trump. That is, without a shadow of a doubt, absolutely political persecution. Quick shout out to my man, Fed Up Patriot. Thank you so much for the $10 super chat this morning. Ron Yates, this is what I refer to when I say that the Democrats will not give a simple yes or no. I remember you saying that. Oh, thanks so much for another $10 super chat from Freedom. Freedom says, good morning, Ron. 105 degrees today here in Bakersfield. The only felony and criminal is Joe Biden destroying America. Garland needs to answer for his lying bullcrap. I totally agree. How many of you guys agree with Freedom that Joe Biden and Merrick Garland need to answer for their bullcrap, for their lying bullcrap? We need a lot of answers, guys. And the thing is I feel like if Donald Trump actually gets into the White House, he's going to declassify so many documents, so much information, lies, deceit, if he gets into office. And there's a lot that we're not supposed to know. But comment down below, what would be the most, if Donald Trump only declassified like one thing, what would it be that you'd like to learn more about? Is it the UFOs? Would you want Trump to declassify the 9/11 documents? Would you like Trump to declassify the COVID-19 operatives and the real secret behind that entire mission, the pandemic? Like, what would y'all like to really learn more about or have Donald Trump declassify? So in short, guys, Merrick Garland is lying to Congress and he's been lying to the American people. But according to him, the conspiracy theory that the DOJ has been weaponized against Donald Trump is nothing more than that. He's saying that it's an attack on the judicial process itself. And yet Merrick Garland, he's not willing to provide correspondence that the DOJ may have had with Fani Willis, Alvin Bragg, or Letitia James. Now, it would be much simpler if he just said that the back and forth communication doesn't exist, but he didn't want to lie under oath. So he had to dance around the question. Didn't want to perjure himself. But him defending it this much, guys, this shows us that there's definitely something here that he doesn't want us to see. You guys are sharp. You guys are seeing this. Critics and analysts alike, they have said that this request from Gaetz is perfectly warranted. I mean, he's not asking for correspondence regarding ongoing investigations. He's asking for previous discussions that they may have had. That's it. And he, if he does so, and it proves that this is not a targeted effort against Donald Trump, then, Matt Gaetz would be the one who's embarrassed. Matt Gaetz would be like, hey, I thought that this was a coordinated effort. My bad. The evidence is proving me wrong. I'm sorry to have assumed that you guys were working together. But simple fact of the matter is that they don't want to provide this information. So I think that they're trying to hide something. What do y'all think? Experts argue that the only way to resolve all of this is by being transparent, something that critics of the Biden administration say is not their best quality. In fact, some people feel as if they're much better at hiding things from the American people than they are at telling us the truth. So And when President Joe Biden was asked about Donald Trump's 34 felony counts, he just flashed a grin. Like, what are you laughing about, sir? Does this mean that he's happy with the results? Does this mean that Biden was behind Donald Trump getting hit with 34 felony counts? And the president is campaigning that Donald Trump lost it and that he's not fit for office. Do you guys agree with that idea from Biden? But, with all that being said, it's still not impossible that Donald Trump wins the 2024 presidential elections. Quick shout out to Cowboy Rob. Thanks so much, my friend, for the $2 super chat this morning. 1, all patents. 2, Epstein files. 3, UFOs. Okay, all patents, Epstein files, and UFOs in that order. Appreciate you, Cowboy Rob. Talking about the documents that Donald Trump, that Cowboy Rob is basically talking about the documents that he would prefer Donald Trump to declassify if he becomes president. So, but again, if this happens, some analysts think that the revenge would be served very cold because many supporters of Trump, including the former president himself, believe this is all rigged and orchestrated by none other than President Biden. But that these charges and attempts to jail him is presenting a very dangerous precedent, one that could possibly jail former political rivals, a possibility that Trump says is probable given the path that we're on right now. So I got to ask you guys, do you agree with Donald Trump on this one? And do any of you guys think that the truth will actually come out regarding the many issues that his political rivals have been involved in since they took office? Please let me know, guys. I want to hear from you guys. Now, Donald Trump's lawyers, Todd, Blanche, and Emil, Bove, they're requesting that New York Judge Juan Merchan lift the gag order that prevents Donald Trump from commenting on witnesses, jurors, and others connected to the criminal case, which led to his conviction for falsifying records in an effort to cover up a potential sex scandal. In a letter that was sent on Tuesday this week, Todd, Blanche, and Emil, Bove argue that, look, guys, there's no longer a reason to maintain continued restrictions on the First Amendment rights of former President Trump since the trial has concluded. They went ahead and emphasized that Trump should be allowed unrestrained campaign advocacy, especially considering President Joe Biden's public comments about the verdict and ongoing criticism from Donald Trump's former lawyer, Michael Cohen, and porn actor Stormy Daniels, who were all key witnesses for the prosecution. Additionally, Donald Trump's lawyer said that lifting the gag order is necessary so that Trump can fully discuss the case and his conviction, especially with the first presidential debate scheduled for June 27th. So the Manhattan District Attorney's Office has not yet commented on this request. I wonder why. Judge Juan Merchan, he originally issued the gag order on March 26th, just before the trial began, after prosecutors expressed concerns about Donald Trump's tendencies to attack individuals involved in the cases. Now, Merchan, he later expanded the gag order to include comments about his own family after Donald Trump made social media posts targeting the judge's daughter, who is a Democratic political consultant. Now, keep in mind, Donald Trump only made the post in reaction to a post that was on his daughter's social media account. So that was dirty from the judge again. Meanwhile, Donald Trump is still allowed to comment on Judge Juan Merchan, District Attorney Alvin Bragg. The gag order does prevent him, though, from making statements about court staff and members of DA Bragg's prosecution team. Donald Trump was convicted on Thursday last week of 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. Prosecutors claim that this was essentially an attempt to cover up a hush money payment to Stormy Daniels just before the 2016 election. Daniels alleges that she had a sexual encounter with Donald Trump a decade earlier. Of course, Donald Trump says, nah, none of that happened. Trump is scheduled to be sentenced on July 11th. Nvidia is set to execute a 10-for-1 stock split tomorrow. Big day for Nvidia, which means that basically for everybody who owns one share of an investor, for every one share an investor owns, they will receive an additional 9 extra shares, right? So this is This will not change the total value of the company or the overall stake that an investor holds, but it will make each share more affordable. So this stock will literally start trading at this new adjusted price on Monday, June 10th. Mark your calendars, guys. Now, keep in mind, Nvidia has a history of stock splits, having completed 5 in the past. However, if you think about it, after these stock splits, previous stock splits, Nvidia shares did not perform very well. On average, Nvidia's stock dropped by 23% in the 12 months that followed the splits and was still down by 3% on average after 24 months. Now, despite this historical trend, it's very important to note that 4 of these 5 stock splits occurred during or near a recession. Now, I mean, we're either in a recession or we're about to go into one right now. So this could possibly be history repeating itself. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but I'm just looking at the patterns here. For example, U.S. economy was in the recession from March 2001 to November 2001. And again, from December 2007 to June 2009. Now, these economic downturns, they affected the entire stock market, causing Nvidia stock to decline along with it. Even though Nvidia stock initially dropped after these stock splits, investors who bought shares during these times have done very well over the long term. For instance, Nvidia stock surged 205% just in the last year and 580% over the last 3 years, driven largely by excitement around advancements in artificial intelligence. So in a nutshell, basically, while Nvidia's history suggests a potential decline following the stock split, past patterns were influenced by broader economic conditions. Long-term investors have still seen substantial gains despite a lot of these initial setbacks with Nvidia stock. But anyway, guys, what do y'all think about this, right? Isn't this just wild what is going on right now with Nvidia stock, Donald Trump's cases, Merrick Garland trying to hold back information that Matt Gaetz is demanding of him. You got Fani Willis possibly misusing federal funds. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And I'm ready for justice, guys. Are y'all ready for justice? Quick shout out to Mind Your Business. Thanks so much for the huge $20 super chat. Mind Your Business says, thank you, Ron, for reporting on issues mainstream media avoids. We need more of your type of reporters. Thank you for clarifying the haze other reporters leave to linger. Appreciate the support. Thank you for highlighting what you like about the channel. And I'm going to try to keep bringing you guys more of that, more of what you appreciate, more of what you love. Again, thank you guys so much for the super chats. Thank you, all of you guys, for all you guys and girls hitting the join button and supporting the channel that way. For all of you who have hit the subscribe button and who have shared these videos with like-minded individuals who appreciate the content, I cannot thank you guys enough. You guys are the real deal. You guys are the real deal. Catalia, you're the best too. But anyway, guys, Ray J, what's going on? Mr. Copeland, Bearfax, Ingrid Hubert, Fed Up Patriot. Appreciate you guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. Patty Holiday. Anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off here. Thanks so much for liking the video and sharing it. And I'm gonna catch you guys on the next one. Be safe, guys.